What a turnaround. Watching that was really embarrassing. I just went online. I just went on here for the first time. My own solo show, and I was muted the whole time. I started, you know what? I'm just gonna start out fresh, right from the beginning, go from the get-go, and we're just gonna go for it. So, those who have watched their other stream for a split second, I appreciate you putting up with that. So, yes, I am your host, Paul Herman. I'm solo today. Usually, I have my cohort, my good buddy Chris Clow with me, but not today. Today, it's just gonna be me because I'm trying to get more content out there. I'm just gonna put hold on a second, guys. Join me again. All right. Anyway, so I'm trying to grow the channel as much as I can, and one of the reasons, or one of the ways I can do that, is by doing more content that you guys can all like and subscribe to. Lots of fun there. I really appreciate it. And is the only way I can do that to grow is to have more content out there and get better by doing more content. And I just don't have any time to edit. I just don't have time to edit videos. That's why streaming's so huge for me, that I can get out there and try to just get something out there for people to get, and get better as doing live streams and getting comfortable talking in front of a camera. Because I'll be honest, I'm not comfortable in front of a camera, but I'm working on it. So anyway, I appreciate everyone who supports the channel. I know most of the people who do watch the channel or listen to the channel or whatever are people who are usually probably friends of mine or people who know me, and I really appreciate that. So those who do listen and take the time to like, subscribe, and comment, I really do appreciate it. Honestly, truly do. It means a lot, because I do have aspirations for this channel of not make a living, or I want to make comics. I made Space Demons. Space Demons Part 2 has been a long way coming, but there's other projects I want to do, and this channel is an avenue to get that. All I care about is creating more comic books, basically. So anyway, I'm out here. I'm trying to get out there and do as much as I can. I've got some more comments. Make sure I'm not muted. Hi, Justin. Thank you. How you doing, buddy? I appreciate you coming on, man. I really do. And I also got my boy, Andrew. Okay, I thought I turned it all the way down. My bad. Let me turn this down. Okay, there we go. There you go. Thank you, Andrew. So anyway, I always talk over things. I always talk over people. They always love it. So yeah. So basically, what the mega chill streams are going to happen, or what they're going to be now, is a way for me to just get out there and interact with people more, and tell people what I'm doing, what exactly I'm reading, and just kind of, maybe I'll bring more random people on here as the channel grows and more people do these views. Maybe I'll do more of a live call-in thing. I don't know. I like to be more interactive, but I just don't have, the necessary, audience to do that. So it's just kind of, it's whatever. So yeah, thank you, Andrew. Andrew, honestly, appreciate you. You've always been a homie, man. Always make it, appreciate you as always, Andrew, and you too, Justin. Always appreciate you. So, so what this is going to be is, I'm going to talk about this. This episode specifically is going to be about what I'm reading lately, and Mega Chill Streams are going to be always comic related. I'm not going to become a pop culture show. I can't stand it when people say we're comic book, I'm a comic book channel, but it's like all, and they say, oh, we're pop culture now, and it's like, that's not my bag. I want to get out there. Ooh, I got some bots on the side. Nice. No, that's not nice. But I want to grow the channel as much as possible. And the only way I can do that is by getting out there and talking about the comics I'm talking about. So today I'm going to talk about some comics I've been reading, which have been mostly Marvel. And those who know me are probably going to be shocked that I am, you reading Marvel comic books. Oh my God. And I want to make it very clear. I just like I try to read all the major, all comic books as far. I try to get out there as much as I can, but I definitely grew up on Marvel. I'm comfortable with Marvel. I love Marvel. I just want to be in, that's what I'm drawn to. But I'll be honest too, Marvel in the last, I'd say, 5 years has not been my favorite. The X-Men titles are a mess, and I grew up loving the X-Men, but I can't get into them. They just, Jonathan Hickman, he sunk that ship, man. He Titanicked it. And the only way for me to connect to them is by reading those old Claremont and Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, all those comic books are what I like for the X-Men. But the last 5, I'd say last 10 years, it's been really up and down for Marvel as far as quality wise. And Spider-Man's a character I always loved, whether or not it's good or bad. I'm going to support it because I love the character. So it's one of those things where I'm like, man, Marvel hasn't always put out great stuff besides Mortal Hulk. Mortal Hulk is one of my favorite comic series of all time. So what I've tried, every time there's a new Marvel series that I kind of I'm interested in, I always give it a chance for a little bit. I read it in avenues, and it doesn't always stick with me. Right now, I'm gonna say really quick. I've been reading this for a while. I've been pounding the table for a while. Around for a while is Moon Knight by Jen McKay. That's a great series. But that's been going on for a while, and I've been kind of pounding the table for it. It's really good. If you're not reading it, you should read it because it's really good. But there's a couple series I've kind of discovered in the last, I'd say, month, and it's kind of by accident because I haven't really, because again, Marvel hasn't really been, making me very comfortable. Series is super good. Right. But what I'm going to tell you right now is I think good. And I'm really, really impressed with what they're doing right now. And the first series I want to talk about is one of, again, if you're on my Twitter account, you probably know this. And again, like, subscribe, all that jazz, is a new King series. And one of the things about this series that I'm really into here, and I don't know why it's not. I'm back. Sorry, Val. It's internet's really bad. Not gonna lie, it's pretty terrible. So anyway, as I was saying, yeah, oops, exactly. Let me read here. Justin, what we got here? I've been reading Doom Patrol with Grant Morrison. As we're where's our anyway, I I've been really into this, I wanted to get into Kang, and I just kind of randomly wound up into the series. And I gotta tell you, yeah, seriously. Yeah, I don't know. I know. Exactly. Not cool. Not cool. I agree, Andrew. But anyway, as I was saying, as I'm gonna be muting myself here, uh, this Kane comic book series I found kind of randomly, and I gotta tell you guys, the for those who don't know, Kang's coming to the MCU. You've already might have seen him in Loki, and Kang is a character that I'm gonna be honest with you, he's very, very confusing. I mean, this is what we've, look, when you have Kang, this is what you have to deal with. You've got this crazy, just out of control character stuff, and you don't really know what you're gonna get. He's, you know, confusing, and this is from someone like me who loves the character. I love Kang. Kang is a great character. He looks phenomenal. The problem is he's just not that interesting. He's just very confusing, and it's just like yeah, exactly. He's just a very confusing character, and he's not an easy character to get into. And the fact that the MCU's got it, they're going in and bringing this character into the limelight. It's pretty incredible. So, with all that being said, I found this series by the right again. I'm going to butcher their names, and I meant to get their names out sooner, but anyway, it's Kelly and is it Lanning? I think it's Lanning, but I digress. But anyway, there's these writers that a pair I've never heard of before I read this King series. And I just kind of started reading it and I got really into the series, man. I gotta tell you. It's a Kelly and Lansing, excuse me, Kelly and Lansing. And as someone who loves King and loves the character, and Avengers Forever is a great series, go read it. But it's confusing. They managed this writer duo, and we'll get trust me, I'm not done with talking about them yet, which is really cool. But they have managed to compress so much storylines and continuity in 5 comic books that it's super impressive. It's super, super. And the thing is with Kang, is that you can't just go lightly with them. You got to go all in. If you're going time travel, you got to go all into it. And it's I don't want to get it. I don't want to get into it right here. It's crazy. But you just think of Ramatut, think of Iron Lad, Immortus, Kang. It's crazy. The possibilities for the MCU with the Kang character is insane. And the Ant-Man Quantumania movie is just going to be even more insane for it. So if you're what I promise you, either after you watch Quantumania or before you watch Quantumania, you're going to want to read this Kang miniseries that just came out this a couple years ago or last year or whatever. Go read this series. It makes sense of everything. There are lots of cool Easter eggs. There's some new nuanced stuff in there that I really liked. And again, the writing team, Kelly and Lanzig, I immediately picked up on these guys thinking, okay, this is it's structured really, really well. And Mango's art, Carlos Mango, is incredible. Like I went and looked at some of the comics he's done. Hasn't done a lot. He needs to do some more high profile work, honestly. It's super good. I loved his work on this comic book series, and I am going to go and try to find these single issues because I love this series so much. So it's super, super good. Yeah. Uncanny Avengers had a solid thing for Kang. Not bad. I still think Avengers Forever is probably the best. If you want to get really crazy with Kang, Avengers Forever is probably where you want to go. The first volume 1 of Avengers Forever. I mean, the only one in my opinion that matters is Kurt Busiek and Carlos Pacheco. Rest in peace. That is one of my favorite maybe Avengers stories ever. It's so good. I mean, Kurt Busiek is just an underappreciated man. Yeah, mine. Yeah, seriously. No. I'm telling you, everyone, if you value getting knowledge before you watch the movies and MCU, this is a series to read. Yeah, you're not everything. It's all good. So going to the MCU thing here in a second. So Wakanda Forever came out, critically acclaimed, rightfully so. It's a box office hit, rightfully so. Namor is amazing. Awesome. I love it. I think it's probably in my top 10 Wakanda Forever. I'll eventually do a listing of my MCU films on Twitter or something like that. But so I went and I just kind of, I'm not sure. Someone told me Black Panther's John Ridley's Black Panther was good. Maybe I saw on YouTube someone raving about it. And John Ridley's a guy that, he's obviously an Oscar award-winning writer. He wrote 10 Years a Slave, I believe, or I think it's 10 Years a Slave. And he's a comic writer. And not only that, but like he's actually written like a ton of he's writing some Batman comics now. He wrote The American Way, which is a Vertigo book that's really, I haven't read yet, but I have, and I plan on reading it. And I just kind of went, oh yeah, I forgot he's that writer, that John Ridley. Okay. And I thought, okay, I'll whip up some Black Panther by John Ridley, and just kind of said, okay, cool, whatever. Didn't think much of it, and I was pleasantly surprised to very, very surprised that this comic series is very, very good, and a lot of people praise Coates's Tasha Coates. Again, I'm butchering names. I apologize, but Coates' writing, he's obviously a gifted writer. The guy can write. The thing is with his Black Panther run, it just he didn't know the medium very well. And I know I liked his Captain America when I read it for a little bit, and I need to finish it. I know my partner Chris Clow loves it. I liked it. I never finished it. We'll get to Captain America in a second. Take a drink of Diet Coke here. And the thing is with Black Panther, he just didn't have the action down, right? There wasn't enough for a comic reader like me. If you're going to do a 22-page comic book and not a graphic novel, you have to know how to pace it in 22 pages. And that's a hard thing to do, I think, for a lot of it's a lot harder than people think it is. You can't just anyone can just write a 22-page comic book. Graphic novel, you have a little more leniency. With a 22-page monthly comic, you have to know how to pace it, get me involved, and you got to give me some action. And if it's not action, you got to get me, on the edge of my seat somehow. And it's not easy. It's very much and I'm going to say this a lot on the binge and on other shows, but Monthly comics is an assembly line. You have to know and you put things out on a certain order, and it has to be, and it's an art form. So it's freaking hard, man. You can't writing monthly comics, I think, is way harder than people give it credit for. I mean, anything like that is hard, but I mean, writing, drawing, and doing this and have it be creative and have it have some merit is not easy. So with that, Black Panther, to Coates' Black Panther run, I know he was on it for a long time. It's important. I think it started off interesting. Didn't have enough action. John Ridley's Black Panther, not at all the same thing. This is a series that both involves Shuri heavily, but it's about T'Challa, and it really talks about to me the pressures of being a king and giving that power away and have it not be about you, and how it goes from a monarchy to a democracy, and how that transition is difficult, and so all the secrets have come back to haunt you as a king, and all that. It's very interesting, while also maintaining itself some kind of Marvel resemblance, right? Like having that fun 22-page comic book feeling. And that's not easy. And the artist's name is escaping me, but I gotta tell you, this comic series is some of the best Black Panther comics I've ever read. And I cannot wait for the next issue. It's got a really interesting premise right now that, again, I want to spoil. The first arc, main story is super good. A good chunk of it's on Marvel Unlimited right now. They introduce a very interesting character later on in the series that has maybe some ties to Wakanda Forever. You'll notice when I see it, or when you read it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a hot key item, if you will. So anyway, so yeah, Black Panther. I gotta tell you guys, go read Black Panther. It's super good. I like it a lot. I recommend it. Go read it. It's good. And come back to me. Let me know any of these titles I'm reading that I'm talking about. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Say, hey, this sucks, or hey, this is great, or hey, you're full of crap, or whatever. But either way, get me in the algorithm, yo. Hit the like, hit comments, please. Just say awesome. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So Black Panther, so I got into Kang and Black Panther. So I'm like, man, Marvel put out some decent series. Okay, this is pretty solid. Okay, I'm into this. And my good buddy Pete, who obviously on the Batman Book Club on a monthly basis. He's on, straight out of Gotham. He's on a ton of podcasts. A Batman on Film podcast. Dude's just unreal. Pete, I love you, bro. I know you're out there. You've been bugging me to read Black Cat for a long time. I'll read it eventually. But I saw Pete talking about this Captain America book, right? And for those who don't know, they just released two comic book series of Captain America. They released a Sam Wilson version and the classic Steve Rogers version. And I love Cap, but I wasn't feeling compelled to go down that route. Some obviously Neil and Javi. I totally forgot about this. Apparently they've been telling me this has been great for a long time, but they told me to go read it. I kind of forgot about it. And then Pete started talking about it. I'm like, huh. And Pete, I don't know if this would happen, but I'm pretty sure you told me that, the same guys who wrote Kang are writing Captain America. I went, whoa, wait a second. Okay. And as I said before in the show, I said, I really was impressed with how the writing was on Kang. And when he told me they were the ones, it's a writing duo, were the ones writing Captain America, I was like, okay, I'm paying attention. Let's go check this out. Captain America by Kelly and Lanzig again. And, I got to tell you, people, I don't even want to tell you what's going on in this comic book series because it's awesome. And I've always loved Captain America. I've always gone and read Captain America off and on for many, many, many years. I've read the Brubaker run. Brubaker run's probably the best run ever, but it's definitely kind of tails at the end, but it's the best, maybe, Captain America story ever. I love Mark Grunwald's Captain America. People are going to hate on that crap, and not me. I love me some Grunwald Captain America. That's what I'm all about it. So I'll take a quick drink here. So, I love Cap. You're not going to get me someone who will support and read Captain America comics as much as me. What they've done in the series has been so impressive. It's crazy. I can't even tell you how good the series is. I know I'm teasing it a lot. I don't like spoiling comic books. For those who don't know, I want people to read these comics. I want you to get out there, read these goddamn comic books because they're good. And people, I'm telling you, the same writing duo that is writing Kang or wrote Kang is writing maybe the best Captain America series since Ed Brubaker and Steve Epstein. That is high goddamn praise. If you know me at all, you know that is not, I don't say that lightly. This stuff they're doing in this series is so goddamn fun. It's so good. And they took a concept of Captain America and made me go, wait a minute, that's pretty rad. And it's different. I'm telling you, get out there, read Captain America. It's worth it. And I gotta tell you, Carnero, the art from her is incredible. It's super good. This is maybe Marvel's top 3 book. Maybe it might be their best book. I don't know. It just might be their best comic book series out there. I'd be hard pressed to find a different one, to be honest. I mean, I think ASM's been pretty solid. Moon Knight's been pretty good. I think this might be the best Marvel series they have, to be honest. I mean, I don't know, like what else is out there. I don't know, but anyway, no Liberty, Kelly and Land. I can get more writers and interview them because I'm fascinated. They came up with the story. I'm not sure if they did it, if it was an editor who did it. Go read this series, people. This is some of the best Cap comics you're going to read. Go read it. It's super good. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, go read Captain America. Get back to me if what you think, because I don't think you're going to regret it. So, all right, other comics I've been reading. Again, heavy Marvel. I finally finished up the Chris Cornell. Oh my god, Chris Cornell. Chris Cantwell Iron Man series. And this is a series that I see a lot of hate for. And it's weird because I don't see it, man. Like it bums me out because I don't understand is people got bent out of shape about Hellcat featured in the book, and people saying it was kind of a more of her, kind of like her comic book, but it's an Iron Man comic. I'm like, I don't get it. She's a love interest, and it's kind of a minor spoilery, if you could say, but it's not. It's really nothing. That being said, I think Chris Cantwell's Iron Man run is maybe like. Sorry, my dog is barfing again. I think Chris Cantwell's Iron Man is one of the better Iron Man runs in a long time. I think Matt Fraction is probably the last good one. But I do think that Chris Cantwell delivered a pretty good Iron Man story. And the thing is, it's not Robert Downey Jr. It's actually, and I meant to ask him this again. I wish I had an audience that was bigger than what I have, because I would love to ask him and see what he says about the series, because it doesn't feel like Robert Downey Jr.'s characterization. It feels more like the 90s version, which I love. And there's a lot of 90s love on this. There's a lot of, deep-seated love in general on this series. And, I love that about it. I love the own, its own thing. And so with that being said, I just finished up the last of the series. It's again, it's not the best. It's not the best, Iron Man series ever, but it's a good one. And I recommend it because I think the one thing that Campbell did in the series was give Tony kind of perspective that people say that, he learns this all the time, but I think he learned more about himself in this series than people give it credit for. Though the last issues that I read, the last 3 or 4, weren't the best of the series, it still ended on a pretty fun note, and I liked it a lot. And I think it was, and you got to see, I'll say this, you get to see Tony drunk on something that's not alcohol necessarily. And I think that's it's interesting parallel for the character. And yeah, I like it a lot. I think people are really hard on this series. I'll debate anyone about this Iron Man series. And frankly, I think people should go read it. Most of it's on Marvel Unlimited. Go read it. It's a good read. Deep Cut City. If you're an Iron Man fan, I don't see how you could not like it. But I digress. Like, I don't know. Who knows? But also, this Iron Man suit is maybe the best than The best. This is the best Iron Man like suit we've gotten in like 10 years, bar none. Give me a different one. I'll challenge anyone, to anyone out there that's that that will tell me that there's a better suit than this. To be honest, the only suit that I think that's maybe not as good is maybe the MCU Iron Man 3 suit, which I don't like Iron Man 3 that much as a movie. So I should tell you something. I like that suit. I love that gold, that all yellow gold. I love that. Go check out Iron Man. This is not, again, Chris Cantwell is maybe one of the a really under. And yeah, I don't know. We're definitely gonna do a binge episode on Iron Man. I definitely be Legends figure is just ridiculous. I gotta tell you, it's ridiculous. So yeah, Christopher Cantwell, thank you for the awesome 25 plus issues of Iron Man. I loved it. I'm gonna talk a lot about it eventually and really dive deep into it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm having some more technical problems as usual. We gotta love it. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Justin. I agree. Um, so yeah, the one thing about this suit I'm gonna say right now is that this suit is very much a homage to whoops, I'll talk about that in a second. This is definitely a homage to more of a classic Iron Man, but it's whatever. It's super good. So all right, going a little longer than I realized. I was hoping to go only 20 minutes, but I'm already at 30. Oh my god. Kind of going fast here. Daredevil. They're right now, Punisher and Daredevil are basically kind of like having a weird crossover. That's like they're kind of like going like this, like eventually meet to the head. And Zdarsky's Daredevil, not always my favorite. But since the relaunch of issue 2, it's been pretty good. And or issue 2, in volume 2, the second volume of his run, it's been pretty awesome. I've been really into it. And I gotta tell you that I think that it's what it's building up towards with Punisher, and I've got caught up with all my Daredevil, all my Punisher. I'm all caught up, and I gotta tell you, this is pretty good. Like they've got a pretty cool story going on right now, and I think I definitely think it's worth picking up. This is a series that I think that both Punisher and Daredevil, they're not like the traditional, like, they're dark stories, but they're more event. There's kind of an event going on, and it's working. It really is working because diving into the characterizations of both of them without having to like sacrifice for events. Punisher, I think, is way better than I thought it was going to be. I'm really liking Punisher, excuse me, a lot more than I realized. And if that tells you anything, Ares versus Punisher, it makes sense. And that's how Jason Aaron, I feel like he's hit and miss for me, but Jason Aaron's nailing it on Punisher. Go, if you like Daredevil and you like Punisher, if you haven't read these series, just start at number 1 for both these recent series, and you'll be enjoying it. I've been enjoying it. So I way more than I thought of. I think my buddy Michael Daly, MJ, he told me to check the series out, and he was right. He was right. So definitely check that out. I Punisher. I think Punisher's a kind of boring character, and I don't really like the Punisher that much. But I've liked this. But yeah, no. Daredevil is doing a really cool thing right now, and Zdarsky's initial run with Daredevil, he started a couple years ago. It started off really well, and then it kind of teetered for me. So it wasn't always strong, but it definitely has hit it's hitting high points now for me. I'm really into it. So, all right, what else we got here? I think I got one more to talk about, and that's going to be Miles Morales. The first issue just came out yesterday of the new series, and this is by Cody Ziegler. And I gotta tell you, this is a series, man, that I've not, our character that I've liked a lot. I love Miles Morales, but the series before this was bad. It's bad. It just was not good, and I could not get into it. But Man, what Ziegler and Vicente are doing on the series right now, I'm telling you, people, it's great. Go this first issue, go pick it up. The art is so dynamic. I said it on Twitter that Vicente is a very stylized artist, and it's very distinct. I like it, but his layouts are dynamic. And so with his dynamic poses that he has with his art, with his normal art, is like really interesting. And it really suits a Spider I think, to be honest. I think with Spider-Man, it wouldn't work Spider-Man with Peter Parker and his in that world may not work completely. It's a little maybe a little more jarring, but with Miles, it kind of makes sense. I don't know. It's got a really distinct style, and I love it. And Ziegler, I don't know. The thing with Miles Morales that people underestimate. I'm gonna always say this about him. He's different than Peter Parker. And people say, why do we need another Spider-Man? He represents obviously different, different kinds of people. I think it's great. He's a younger than even I think he's younger than Spider-Man than when he became a superhero, or just a little bit. And he's a little bit more of a hothead. And Spider-Man was a hothead too when he first started, when he got his powers. But Miles is different. Miles will talk back to people. He'll talk back to authority. He questions things a lot more. He's a lot more sociable than Peter. He's a lot more socially conscious than Peter is. And that, I think, makes him valuable, because I think Peter represents the outcast, but I think Miles represents a lot more of the everyday kid. And that's important for, I think, in any kind of medium of any kind of superhero character that kids can look up to, that they can identify with, but not just who feels like an outcast. Those are important. Don't get me wrong. But those like Miles that are more of just everyday people, and as far as and be identified with that, and just kind of this, they can those, because more people will talk back to people, to authority, even though it's right or wrong. Ziegler really gets into it, man. I liked it a lot. This is a lot of promise, and I love it. This could be a really sleeper book, man. I'm telling you, I was really excited about this. So yeah, lots of man. Marvel's killing it with a lot of titles, man. And I know I'm Marvel Zombie, and I'll admit it, but I'm gonna call it like I see it. This is a really freaking good batch of books kind of coming out right now. And I mean, I'm not even talking about ASM. I even brought up Moon Knight that much. Moon Knight's phenomenal. I need to catch up on that, but I'm buying that physically, so I have to pick up that at the comic store. So anyway, anyone who's watched the video, I really appreciate it. Mega chill stream. Yeah, we'll do more of these. I'm gonna see how they do, and maybe they'll do well. So hit like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, and yeah, thanks everyone. We're having a fun show on Tuesday. We have oh yeah, we have the new Infinite Crisis episode on Tuesday, which I'm really excited about, with Knights of Knee, Papa Nick and Mr. Baby gonna show up. Really excited about that. So yeah, no Chris here tonight, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Read more comics. Thanks for joining us, people.